Welcome everybody to the Keeping Score podcast from the Daily Interlake and Hagedorn Sports Network. I am Josh Amick. This week on the Range Riders recap, we will unpack the tough week for the Range Riders to start their second half of the season and what they can do to get things turned around and keep that home field advantage in sight. So without further ado, let's get into it. The second half of the season kicked off Tuesday at Glacier Bank Park with the Range Riders facing the team that finished above them in the standings, the Missoula Paddleheads. The Range Riders were shut out, and Missoula used two long balls to beat the Range Riders 6-0. In Game 2, the Range Riders were in line to get a win as they took a 6-4 lead heading into the bottom of the ninth. Missoula responded with back-to-back home runs and played 5 runs to take a 9-6 lead, which ended up being the final score. In their final game of the home series, it was another tough outing as the team only had 4 hits and they lost again 7-2, being winless still in the second half. In the final game of their home series, it was another tough outing as the team only had 4 hits and lost again 7-2, remaining winless in the second half of the season. On Friday, the Range Riders traveled to Missoula to start another 3-game series, but the results were not much different. Down to their final out, Christian Kirtley came up huge and hit a game-tying 3-run home run with their last out in the 9th inning. On Friday, the Range Riders traveled to Missoula to start another 3-game series, but the results were not much different. Down to their final out, Christian Kirtley came up huge for the Range Riders and hit a game-tying 3-run home run to tie the game up at 6-6. The game was then sent to the knockout round, and the Pioneer League-leading home run hitter Adam Fogel outdueled Chad Castillo to help Missoula secure their 4th straight win. Now, Saturday was my game of the week as the Range Riders ended their losing streak and the offense came back to life. They had 11 hits and starter Colin Kafka kept the top-ranked Missoula offense in check, allowing 2 runs and 2 hits over 6 innings pitched. The Range Riders won easily 12-3 to secure their first win of the second half of the season. Chad Castillo had a huge game, going 4 for 5 with 6 runs driven in. The middle of the order drove in all 12 runs for the Range Riders. In the final game of the series, the Range Riders' comeback attempt fell just short, losing 8-5. After being down most of the game, they loaded the bases and had the game-winning run at the plate in the 9th inning. But Ty Penner would ground into a double play to end the game and conclude a brutal first 6 games to start the half of the season. In the final game of the series, the Range Riders' comeback attempt fell just short, losing 8-5. After being down most of the game, they loaded the bases and had the game-winning run at the plate in Ty Penner, who would ground into a double play to end the game and conclude a brutal first 6 games to start the second half of the season. That's it for the Range Riders scoring recap, so let's get into this week's edition of In Case You Missed It. The Range Rider added a few players from the injured list, including catcher and outfielder Austin Bates, as well as pitcher Justin Coleman. Bates has spent 3 seasons with the Range Riders and is so far hitless in his first 8 at-bats of the season. Coleman also returned to the bullpen off the injured list and has been with the team since 2022 and has only pitched 1/3 of an inning so far this year. Looking forward to next week against Boise, the Range Riders need to get back to hitting the long ball. In their first 6 games of the season in the second half, Christian Kirtley has their only home run, and it was that big game-tying 9th inning shot. They need to get back to showing more power and rely on Gabe Howell, Chad Castillo, and Christian Kirtley to get them back on track. Another key to getting back to their winning ways is don't panic. They played Boise to conclude the first half of the season, and it was a much more even matchup. There is a reason Missoula is at the top of the standings and leads the Pioneer League in almost every offensive category. They have also played 3 of their last 4 series on the road, so returning home to Glacier should help get their confidence back. That's it for this week's Range Riders recap. Hopefully the team gets back to their winning ways against Boise when they return to the Valley. For the Keeping Score podcast from the Daily Interlake and Hagedorn Sports Network, I'm Josh Amick, and until next time, take care.